Hello, 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 beautiful unicorns. Yana Kasperczak coming to you live from Ontario of Canada as your certified professional performance and spiritual awakening core energy coach. It has been my soul's purpose to help women, to help you get your shit together so you can break free from that mental prison you find yourself in and build a business, life, and or career that you are obsessed with. So today, first I I'll start it off in this way. So today's actually going to be the very last story time that I'm going to be going live with on my personal page. As we are constantly, continuously looking for ways to improve our business, our company, Empathy Unicorn Academy, and everything that is under the umbrella of Empathy Unicorn Academy, which is the programs, the groups, the communities, and the content as well. So this is one of the things that we and I am going to be changing going forward. So instead of going live for story time on my personal page on Tuesdays at 11:45 a.m. ish Eastern time, I'm actually going to be moving the weekly get your shit together weekly live guidance with myself that I typically do in our Heal the Unicorn Facebook group community. I'm going to be moving that onto my personal page. I'm going live on Thursdays at 11:45. So instead of Tuesday, I'll be here on Thursday, and I am who I am, no matter what it is, what content I'm putting forth or putting in front of you, whether it's story time, whether it's get your shit together, whether it's the card reading that I do in the group, and that one will stay in the group. You're still getting the same me and the same information. That is not going to change very much. So really, it's going to be a little bit of the titles that might change, which won't even be that noticeable, and the day and the time, or more like just the day, the time is going to be the same. So when I say that first, and in case you're hopping on later, and you're not going to watch the beginning, I'll mention it as well at the end of today. So today I wanted to talk about healing guilt, or more importantly, how to heal guilt, because guilt is one of those emotions that each and every one of us has access to. And we sometimes feel like we're being used and consumed by guilt with guilt. And once we start to get our shit together, we become in control of it because we become aware when guilt is here and we're able to deal with it better. So if you're here looking for a cure to never feel and experience guilt, you're not going to find it here, and you're not going to find it anywhere, because that would just mean that you're no longer human. We humans, we have our feelings and our emotions, and we cannot live without them. We're meant to experience each and every feeling and each and every emotion. So if you are looking for something that will completely get rid of your feelings and emotions, it's just simply not going to happen. And I'll keep this video short and sweet. Honestly, simply because I just realized my phone is about to die. It's 15%. I will see how quickly it's gonna die, and you'll see how quickly my phone dies because I use it. I use it enough. So short and sweet and straight to the point. How do you heal guilt? Starts with awareness. If you don't know, if you're not aware of what is triggering your guilt, the stories that are triggering your guilt, where it's coming from, your buttons within you, then how can you heal them? How can you know they're there? That's why awareness is the first step. You need to know what's up and what's down, or what's to the right and what's to the left. You need to know what's going on. You need to know your buttons, your triggers. You need to bring them out and understand them and dissect them and understand even where they're coming from and when they were created, and all that kind of dissection that comes into play. The history, so that way you can understand how not to let history repeat itself, right? So understand and become aware and become conscious of your triggers. When you start doing that, you will start to notice yourself in the act and catch yourself in the act, meaning that you're feeling guilty and you start to recognize, hey, what I'm feeling right now is guilt. Because a lot of people don't even pause to think about what are they actually feeling. What is the emotion that is taken over their body and their mind? And it just feels bad, and they try to get past it. They will try to avoid it. They'll try to go around that feeling, that emotion, and not dealing with it. They'll distract themselves. They'll go and do something else. They're avoiding dealing with it. They're avoiding confronting it. They're avoiding accepting it as if it's not meant to be part of them, a part of their existence. Whereas it's unrealistic. We're human beings. We're full of feelings, emotions, and hormones. So the more that you avoid dealing with it, the harder it will be later. It's just like that for everything that we do. Even if that phone call you've been trying to make or send that message, and then the longer that you wait, the harder it will be, right? Right or right. So make a list of your triggers. What triggers your guilt? Your thoughts, um, experiences. What is it that you do throughout the day that causes you to feel guilty? What is it that you do throughout the week that causes you to feel guilty? What is it that you do throughout a quarter, right? Or in a specific season that causes you to feel guilty? And make a list of the things that you feel guilty doing or experiencing, the things that maybe you struggle with um, staying at home instead of going into work, and you feel guilty for doing that. Maybe you feel guilty for spending money on yourself, but you don't feel guilty spending money on someone else. Maybe you feel guilty doing the things that you love and enjoy, and your hobbies and your crafts. Or maybe you feel guilty being on your phone while you're there sitting with the family and watching a movie. These are just a few areas where we humans can feel guilty, and the list is um as long as the world. All right, it's a really long list, but you gotta decide and realize and dig up, what are your triggers? What triggers you to feel guilty? What triggers your guilt? Make that list so you can understand. And then with some of them, as you start dissecting it and seeing what's in it for you, what you're getting out of it, if it's beneficial, if it's valuable or not, you can either change your way. So with an example of, if you feel guilty using your phone when you're watching a movie as a family, and as you start doing the work, chances are you'll come to your own realization of, perhaps this is the time to actually put my phone away, and this guilt is legitimate. So this is how I resolve and deal with this guilt and put this distraction away, because it takes me away from my family. And if it's, let's say, spending money on yourself, the way that, because the goal is to heal this guilt, become aware, and then become aware of what are your options, what are your choices, what you can do to resolve this feeling of guilt. And with, let's say, if it's spending money on yourself, how you can resolve and deal with that guilt is by actually spending money on yourself and paying attention to your inner dialogue, catching yourself in the act and in that thought process, and understand what's in it for you, what you're getting out of that, and flip it onto its head and tap into the truth of why you deserve to spend money on yourself. That's how you rewrite those stories. Not by going around them and avoiding them, is by going through them, is by dealing with that guilt, with that trigger. And only you can uncover what that trigger is, that triggers your guilt, and decide what you're going to do about it and how you're going to tackle this trigger, so it's no longer there. And these are just two different examples that I've shared with you of how you can deal with it. It really comes down to whatever is triggering you, you eliminate it, or you face it and you keep doing it over and over again until you feel happiness and joy when you spend money on yourself, because you start to see it as an investment into yourself, into your life, and in some cases maybe an investment as a lesson, where you'll say you bought something that you thought you really wanted and then you bring it home when you really don't want it. It becomes a lesson, lesson of, these are the things that I buy in impulsive buy, and it's not something that I want. And then these are the things that I buy that are intuitive buy, which I know are for me. And you start to recognize, how does the impulsion comes up and comes through for you, and how does the intuition comes up and through for you. And you start to recognize what's for you and what's not. And then even the shopping experience become easier and effortless for you as well. So that's it. Like I said, short and sweet and straight to the point, where awareness, become aware. What is a trigger? What is a button? What brings up and triggers your guilt? Make a list of all these things and really start tackling that list. Go down that list and decide what you're going to do and how you're going to approach each and every trigger, each and every button that you have that is attached to guilt. And you can actually do that with every less desirable feeling and emotion that you have. And I say less desirable because you don't want to feel that way. You don't desire to feel that way, but because it is part of the human existence, you're going to feel that way. It's part of the process. So learn to get comfortable in the uncomfortable. So that's all I want to say. That's all I want to share. And for those of you who didn't see the beginning, I just really quickly want to say, because before my phone dies, because now it's 5%. This is the last story time that I'm going to be going live on my personal page, because we're changing our structure in the company, in the business, Empathy Unicorn Academy, and how we do things and our content, and moving things around to make sense for everything, so the way it flows and it's flawless throughout the whole entire company. And I'm just going to be doing the Get Your Shit Together weekly live guidance here on my personal page, instead of doing that in the Heal the Unicorn group and community. So just switching it up, and that's going to be on Thursdays and not on Tuesdays. So that's all I want to say. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Hope to see you all next time. It's going to be in the new year that I will be going live on the personal page with Get Your Shit Together. But for now, it's still going to be in the group until the end of the year. So maybe I'll see you there. Otherwise, have an amazing rest of your day until we see each other next time. Bye.